right now on the FTX situation and Sam Bankman-Fried personally?
Well, on the situation overall, it really is a crippling blow to the crypto industry. At of all times for it to take place, especially during the midterms when crypto regulation is kind of top of mind already, and where Sam Bankman-Fried teed himself up to be the go-to advisor for a lot of the regulators and kind of the champion of regulation in the space, for him to implode like this, it's really a devastating blow. And as you can see from the markets, it's having a great impact.
Yeah, and it's reducing confidence. I think this is a fair statement, reducing confidence across the entire ecosystem, including Tether, the stable coin that you co-founded. What's your response to, what would you say to Sam Bankman-Fried if you were in the same room with him right now?
Well, I think everyone wants to know how he could possibly let it get this far out of hand. But I want everyone to know and realize it's still a lot of speculation. We're getting all of this news in real time, and most of this news is coming from rumors. We don't really know the true story, and everyone loves to speculate. It becomes much more sensationalized that way. And so we still need a few more days for this to play out to really understand what happened. It doesn't mean that he didn't make some really big missteps, and I'm very interested to see what specifically those were and if they are as bad as everyone is speculating them to be. It still is unbelievable that he could put himself in this position. And
I am going to ask you to speculate a little bit, Reeve, and if you don't know, you don't know, and just say that, because the question I've got, I was just on the phone with our reporter Kate Rooney right before the show, and I said, okay, they're claiming $8 billion in losses, or at least that's the report. So my question to Kate and to you is very simple. What are these $8 billion in losses? This is an exchange. I mean, if Uber loses $1 billion a quarter, I get it, because they have operating expenses that are outstripping their revenue. That happens a lot. This is an exchange. It's supposed to be asset light. Do you have any idea what these $8 billion of losses actually represent?
Again, there's a lot of speculation, and some of that speculation is that he did use customer funds to bail out Alameda, his essentially hedge fund venture arm. And this is a knockdown effect from the Terra Luna collapse. Brian, I think you did a segment on that earlier. And it had massive ripple effect in the industry. And he bailed out Alameda, who was heavily involved in that, in Terra Luna as well. And it seems like this could potentially be that he over-leveraged himself because they stepped up. They tried to save a lot of companies that were impacted by the Terra Luna collapse. And it seems like he just got a little over-leveraged and did some things he probably shouldn't have done.
I mean, and if that is right, and again, I want to be clear, we don't know. This is a lot of speculation. We got a lot of data that everybody's trying to piece together. The DOJ is, according to Kate Rooney, is going to get involved. If it turns out that there was just good old-fashioned losses at Alameda, right, that this guy with an MIT physics degree, maybe, and his team just weren't good at investing, we've seen it before, long-term capital management, among others, that if there were just losses that were then backed up by FTT or FTX or Bankman-Fried or customer accounts, whatever it might be, in some weird way, would that be a relief to the industry? Because it doesn't necessarily mean there is an industry-wide contagion, that this is just, wow, they really blanked up, in Bankman-Fried's own words.
Exactly. And one of the biggest issues is Alameda's balance sheet did hold a lot of FTT token as well as Solana token. And when those imploded and the prices went down, then that was what they were utilizing as collateral. And so they weren't able to make good on any of the positions that they had in the market. And so that's why he was trying to bail them out. And so it's really created a lot of issues.
It sounds like, and I got to go to a movie for this. I'm going to quote the great poet philosopher Tony Montana, who in Scarface said, don't get high on your own supply, right? And if you've got a company that is basically backing up its own assets with its own assets, do you wonder, Reeve, listen, you've co-founded Tether, you've worked at Razorfish, you've started companies, probably very well regulated, heavily regulated companies. Do you wonder how regulators just miss this?
Well, it's not that they missed it. It's very difficult to regulate. And the regulators are doing their best to educate themselves and ideally make responsible regulations.